Hello, welcome back to Reads of an Apple. My name is Stacy and I'm here to wrap up the first half of July and the books that I read. So it's been kind of a slow start for me this month so far. I have read 9 once again, but quite a few of them are short stories, which we will touch base on here. And this will be fairly quick because some of these are discussed more at length in a reading vlog, but we will touch base on those when we get there. So let's just get into this. The first book I read in the month of July was Bright Like Wildfire by Juliet Cross. I pre-ordered my paperback and it still has not come yet, but it finally was set to ship yesterday. So I should see it next Monday, the Monday after this goes up, but we shall see. I can't wait to have the paperback. I loved this. I gave this 5 stars. I did read an arc because I am a member of her Patreon. And this was just so good. It's about Betty and, oh my gosh, how quickly I forget their names. I even looked up my reviews. So let me just pull things up. Load. I really don't want to have to cut this out. Load, please. There we go. Reading challenge. This will be the quickest way. Bright Like Wildfire. What is his name? Bennett. His name is Bennett. So Betty is a high school teacher and she does like community theater, and she has auditioned to be the main female lead of Barefoot in the Park, and Bennett is the male lead, and she kind of doesn't like him. When they did community theater when they were younger, he, I guess, glitter bombed her during A Midsummer's Night's Dream, and so she's never really forgiven him since because she felt like it was intentional. And then when we start, he's opening a new grocery store, but it's kind of like a Sprouts or a Whole Foods or something where it's a lot more health conscious and things like that. And the grand opening makes her already running late to work even later. And so she's just kind of like snarly with him. And they end up being main leads together in the play. And it is their romance. And I really love this. This is Small Town. This is Juliet's first contemporary romance that she's doing by herself. Her first contemporary romance was through Smarty Pants Romance, but this one she is on her own, and I cannot wait. I have so many like potential pairings and side characters that I want to have books. And this is book 1 in her new series. I think it's supposed to be called Beauville, which is the town that it's set in, but I'm not 100% sure. I haven't seen an official like listing. I just have seen like in a new contemporary series kind of stuff, but I love this. 5 stars. If you like Juliet Cross, if you like her Stay a Spell series, definitely try her contemporaries. They're definitely very like familiar feeling just with the way that she writes. And Stay a Spell does have some kind of contemporary feels to its paranormal, and it's a paranormal series, but I love Juliet Cross and I'm just so excited to see where this series goes. And I love that she's branching out into contemporary romance. It's super fun. So then I was planning on picking up a different book, but it was Lisa Kleypas Appreciation Week, and I kept seeing quotes of all of these different books, and there were a couple posts where a bird just came and landed on my window. It's like hooked into the screen on my window. That's really weird. Anyway, I had to pick up Love in the Afternoon 5 stars. I've reread this book so many times. This is my favorite Lisa Kleypas. The Hathaways is my favorite Lisa Kleypas series. This is one of my top 3 historical romances. If you do not know, this is the 5th and final book in the Hathaways. It is Beatrix's book, and she is the youngest. And she is just very done with the ton. I mean, all of the Hathaways kind of are, but her big passion in life is rescuing all different types of animals and rehabilitating them and kind of giving them a better life. And it is her romance with Captain Christopher Phelan. He is my one true Chris, and because that used to be a thing. And it starts out as an epistolary romance, and he is writing Prudence, and he is someone that he has met during the season who he has interest in courting. And when he gets sent to war, he writes her, and in one of the first letters he writes about a dog that was a fellow soldier's that had passed, and he's kind of the dog kind of attached itself to him. And when Prudence mentions that he wrote about a silly dog, Bee's like, oh, let me read it, maybe I can give you some pointers if you write back to him. And Prudence doesn't want to write back to him because she wasn't really interested in him, because she was, but then when he got sent to war, she was like, I don't want to be with someone who could come back disfigured or broken, or she's kind of the very flighty ton lady. And Bee just basically takes up writing these letters, signing Prudence's name, and she's the one that's been ferreting them from Prudence to his sister. And it's their romance, and oh my gosh, I loved it. I adore this book. It's, like I said, it's one of my favorites. Let me see. I know I was able to open to it before, but now I know it's on this page. And look, there's even a picture of Albert. Oh, this dog that he rescues. Ugh. And so it's not epistolary for too long. But what happens is Bee starts falling in love with him. And so she writes a letter from the heart, basically saying, I'm falling in love with you. These words have turned into words from the heart, and I can't lie to you anymore. She's basically like, please come find me. And then she writes a real letter that she plans on sending, and she accidentally switches him, so he gets the heartfelt letter. And when he comes back as a war hero, it is their romance. And she helps him because she's dealt with animals, and she helps him through his PTSD, and it's just so it makes me swoon. I read this in a night because I love Lisa Kleypas, but this book just touches me, and I just love it to pieces. So, and the gorgeous step back. But yeah, Love in the Afternoon, one of my favorite historical romances ever. And even though it put me behind in my reading plans, I couldn't not pick this up, and I'm so glad that I did, because it just this is one of my favorite books. If I had to grab just a couple books, if there was a fire or something like that, this would be one of the ones I would grab, because I would want my step back, and I would want it would kill me to leave the rest of the Hathaways, but this would have to be one of the ones I grab. And then the rest of these books I'm not going to talk about too much, because they will all be in my Hockey Champions readathon vlog that will be coming out next Sunday, the 23rd of July. I created the Hockey Champions readathon because my team, the Colorado Avalanche, won the Stanley Cup, and so I wanted to celebrate. If you missed it, it's pretty much over by now. It ends tomorrow, but definitely if you're interested to see what I was doing, check out my announcement video for sure. But like I said, all of these I will be discussing in detail during my vlog. So I'm just going to touch base on the ones that what I've read so far up to now and go from there. So also this week is the live show for the Hidden Legacy read along. So the first book we had to read was Sapphire Flames. This is book 4 in the Hidden Legacy series by Ilona Andrews. This is the first book in Catalina's trilogy. 5 stars. And let me just say, I don't want to go into it too much, but I wasn't sure how I was going to connect with Catalina, because like I connected with Kate and I connected with Nevada and I love them as heroines, but Catalina really touched me, and she's my favorite Ilona Andrews heroine so far. I adore her to pieces. This book, my jaw dropped. I don't know how many freaking times. I loved it. 5 stars. Check out my vlog to see me gush more about this. Then I read the 4.1 short story. It is free on Ilona Andrews' website, and it is called A Misunderstanding. So this is the artwork they have for it. In Sapphire Flames, there is mention that Leon and then eventually Grandma and Arabella are all closing out the Yarrow case, and we hear that something crazy happened, which is Grandma Frida drove the brick, which is one of their big tank machines, through this guy's house they were trying to like solve the case for, and it's just like Catalina's like, what? And so this is what happened. This is from Arabella's POV, and it was just super fun. I give this 4 stars. If you've read all of Hidden Legacy and haven't read these novellas, they add because you get to see behind the scenes stuff or things that aren't from the main like book's perspective, and it was just super fun to see how it all went down. Most of it was explained later on in Sapphire Flames, so I knew the basic gist of what was gonna happen, but it was kind of fun to have Leon call Arabella and be like, you need to get down here, don't tell anybody, Grandma's already here and there's issues. So super fun. Then the second main book that we had to read was Emerald Blaze. This is book 4 in Hidden Legacy. And if I thought I loved Catalina and Alessandro in book 4, this book, the ending of this book, Catalina just completely blew me away. I almost want to reread this book already. It was just so good, and what Catalina does at the end to defeat the main villain of this book, I was just like, what is she going to do? How is this gonna work? And then she does it, and I'm like, no, something's gonna go wrong. Something has to go wrong. And then she pulls it off. And then her and Alessandro finally starts opening up in this book. And Catalina is such a good head of household, and I just adore her to pieces. This is probably my favorite book of Hidden Legacy so far, and I cannot wait for book 6 to come out in the end of August. This book, it just completely blew me away. 5. If I was one of the people doing 6 stars, this book would get 6 freaking stars. It was amazing. Probably going to be one of my favorite reads of the year, for sure. Then I read 2 more short stories set in Hidden Legacy. The first one was 4.2 Pay Me. And while this one is 4.2, technically it's set in the time frame of Emerald Blaze, and it's not spoilerific, or it doesn't have any spoilers, so you can read it before Emerald Blaze, but I wanted to wait until after just so I got some more of the context. It is called Pay Me, and it is from Catalina's POV, and it is her and Arabella basically closing out a case, and we get to see Catalina like smack down some teenager that's like trying to read her mind for fun and giggling with her friends, and she's just like full on like, you want to read my minds? And she like projects the image of the first kill that she did, and then she's like, if I was any other person, you would probably be dead right now or severely injured, because that is not common courtesy to just start reading surface thoughts off of people's head, especially ones you don't know. And so I love that she kind of went boss bitch on her for a second, and then Arabella's like back there is like backup, and it was just so great, and I loved it. So I gave that 5 stars. And then I also read 5.1 novella, and this one you have to, or short story, this one you have to read after Emerald Blaze. And I gave this one 5 stars as well. So this will be a little bit kind of spoilery, but not too much. So at the end of Emerald Blaze, and all of Emerald Blaze, we know that Nevada is pregnant. And she is, I think at the beginning of the book, she's about 8 months pregnant. And and at the end of the book, when Catalina's ready to go like do the final fight with the big bad, her water breaks. So this short story is called The Cool Aunt, and it is from Arabella's POV, and it is Arabella going to the hospital with Nevada and Mad Rogan, Connor, and it is Nevada giving birth to her baby, but it's all from Arabella's POV. And it was so good. I've said this before in my reviews and in my videos, but I feel like every little addition, even if it's just a paragraph of explanation or just a paragraph of fun little nothingness on their newsletter, I feel like every word they write, no matter the series, it just adds so much more world building and so much more to they feel like they could be real real people, and I love them all to death. Ilona Andrews does such great world building, and even their novellas, if you haven't read novellas in the Kate Daniels series or this series, they really do bring a lot to just making the world feel, I guess, more round and full. And I love Ilona Andrews. So 5 stars for those 2 short stories as well. Very good. Then, also, during this last week of what I'm wrapping up was the bonus Rake Appreciation Society live show for Persuasion by Jane Austen. I actually read this as an audiobook, and I also read this during my Hockey Champions readathon, but I gave this book 4 stars. My biggest issue with it is that I wanted to see more of Anne's and Captain Wentworth's relationship and not as much of all the peripheral stuff going with her family and things like that. So I felt like it's a second chance romance, and it kind of got glossed over in the beginning when they originally fell in love, and then I felt like they just kind of got little snippets together, and they never really talked about, he wrote her a really gorgeous letter saying that he still loves her, but there was never really any real conversations between them where they met back up. And I wished that there was something a little bit more romantically between them two that we saw. Either them getting stuck sitting together at a dinner, or I just wanted something more. Or where they took a walk in a garden, or took a walk to Hyde Park, or I guess they were in Bath. But I just wanted a little bit more from those two together without all the otherness. And then the final book that I have read so far in the month of, I almost said May. It is not May. It is July. Was Pipe Dreams by Sarina Bowen. This is the 3rd book in her Brooklyn Bruiser series. I read this at the same time I was reading Persuasion. So I was reading 2 second chance romances at the same time, which is not a favorite trope of mine. And I'm going to give this 3.5 stars. Like I said, check out my vlog for more of my reasons why. But basically the gist of it is Mike hardly groveled. Mike and Lauren never really sat down and hashed through the baggage that they had from the way that their relationship previously ended. And I wanted them to really work through all of those hurt feelings and I guess miscommunication, but it was more like Mike was hiding information from Lauren. I mean, she was hurt for over like 2 full years, if not more, by what he did with her. And I just, like I said, check out my vlog. I kind of went on a little rant about it, but yeah, I just didn't feel like he groveled enough, and they didn't really work through the issues of why they broke up in the first place. So 3.5 stars. But it was well written, and I like Sarina Bowen. I'm really picky about second chance romances, and I really have to feel like I believe that everything that was the cause or the issues for why they broke up in the first place has been dealt with. And I feel like it was just kind of glossed over, and it wasn't really dealt with in this book, and that really bothered me. So 3.5 stars. And that is it. Super quick. Definitely check out my vlog. It will probably be like 4 times longer than this because I go into depth on these books quite a bit, and I have read quite a few already, and I have at least 1 or 2 more books that will be going on that vlog as well. So we'll see what happens. I might have to split it up into 2 parts. But anyway, that will be up next week. And I think that's it. I think that's all I have. So definitely let me know down below if you've read any good books this first half of July. I am flagging a little bit, and I need to get caught up. I have a lot of plans on books I need to finish for my TBR and just for book clubs for the rest of the month. So I'm probably going to be cramming in a lot more books, but we will see what happens. But give me a like, give me a subscribe if you would like to see more videos from me, and I will see you all very, very soon.